Yeah, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tinnitus Coach Frida, your personal tinnitus coach. And on this YouTube channel, I talk about my personal experience with being born deaf in one ear, having a hearing aid and a severe high-pitched tinnitus in my remaining right ear as well. And in today's video, I want to get into why tinnitus habituation really is not really magic, and it also doesn't really happen by chance. It is a system that you can follow, and it will on average take you 12 weeks to understand it and to start building the habits that take you from bothersome to non-bothersome tinnitus. Welcome. So if you're one of the people who is still waiting for the magic moment where your tinnitus just magically somehow disappears, I've got pretty bad news for you, and good news for you as well. The bad news is there is no magic cure that simply will rid you of your tinnitus. So that's really the first bad news that I unfortunately have for you today. But the good news, there is a system that I have over the last couple of years of working with 500 plus people and being a tinnitus coach for 6 years and living with tinnitus since pretty much 16 years myself now, which is put into a clear and structured path of 12 weeks. So as the founder of mytinnitus.club and a tinnitus coach, living with this severe tinnitus myself, over 15 years, I've learned that success really doesn't come from masking the tinnitus as a sound. It doesn't come from buying very expensive hearing aids. Yes, buy some hearing aids by all means if you have a hearing loss, and if it's indicated that you should be wearing a hearing aid, then you should do that, absolutely. But apart from that, it does not come from sound therapy or waiting for the sound to vanish. It comes from retraining how your brain responds to tinnitus. So getting tinnitus relief and guiding your brain towards habituation is a behavioral frameworks-based system that we teach inside the 12 weeks course. And now I'm going to jump in directly and explain to you the 12-week structure very clearly, so that you can understand what steps in these 12 weeks actually need to be taken in order to teach your brain that tinnitus is not dangerous and that it can stop constantly checking for it. So we're starting with the very first phase that is called understand and soften. And the most important thing is that people understand tinnitus properly. See, most people, when they start dealing with tinnitus, it's actually Googling a lot, going to the ENT, telling them there's nothing really that can be done for that tinnitus. So this is a really difficult thing to hear, right? It's not something that you want to hear, but it's something that I often see and hear with my clients. The goal really in the first phase is to create a foundational understanding of what tinnitus is and to reduce the emotional reactivity to tinnitus as a very first step. And this is of course very important, and it's also already where healing can slowly begin. Because your body and your brain start learning that you don't get better by fighting the sound that much more, but understanding why it bothers you so much in the first place and how that has sort of become your automatic and conditioned response. And inside the program, you will learn how tinnitus and your nervous system interact, right? So how tinnitus is one thing, a sound that you experience, and how your nervous system reacts, that's a second different thing. You will also discover why your brain characterizes tinnitus as a threat, and it naturally does for all of us, also for me, for most of the people that, deal with bothersome tinnitus, and why it's absolutely not your fault, but it's actually your brain trying to protect and to save you. So you will also learn how to understand your limbic system better, that emotional part of your brain, which is involved, and you can stop blaming yourself and start working with the system instead of working against it and wishing it wasn't there, because actually the system is present in everyone, and not only towards tinnitus, but towards a lot of other difficulties in life. You can also start softening your fight or flight response, right? Through breathing exercises, psychoeducation, and somatic grounding, we help you little by little, calm and ground your overactive nervous system. So that helps, of course, also the tinnitus become less intrusive and you'll be a lot more calmer, right? You'll be a lot less emotionally charged, and overall the tinnitus will feel a lot less scary and more manageable. The third step in this phase is really to learn how to step back from your thoughts rather than constantly getting caught up in them and constantly being in fight and battle with a thought, right? So we teach you techniques such as diffusion, which is a very widely based acceptance and commitment therapy technique. So to say, instead of saying, I can't handle this ringing, you'll be able to say, I'm having the thought that I can't handle this ringing. Because really what you can't handle is the emotional reactivity that comes with the ring. So that is a very, very, very small shift. And of course you need to understand how it works on a systemic level in order for it to unlock emotional flexibility and to allow some space towards your thoughts and feelings. So this very first phase is all about understanding your basic reaction to tinnitus, starting to relate to it a little bit differently with less fear and much more calm. The second phase that we're going to get into right now is implement change. And it's the next part of the 12 weeks program, which is breaking unhelpful cycles that have established as a pattern and create new support systems that favor habituation, right? So once you've already softened the panic through the first part, it's time to begin to change how you live with tinnitus, not just how you think and feel about it. And this is a very, very, very important second step. In order to do that, there are a couple of things that we have in store for you in this phase. For example, we help you to replace destructive habits such as constantly Googling cures or terrible stories or avoiding silence at all costs, right? So you start to identify and let go of these safety behaviors that keep your brain locked in this constant tug of war and this constant threat loop. So it's like always needing background noise is not something that will get your brain closer to understanding that tinnitus is not a threat, right? Neither do checking all of these forums and horror stories or constantly evaluating and checking in of where your tinnitus is, how loud it is, what you feel about it, and how much better your life was if it wasn't here to destroy your life, right? Second part is to begin value-based actions and emotional acceptance that helps you to see your emotional reaction in a different way, to say, instead of trying to get rid of tinnitus and the feelings, you learn to make space for these things, still while reconnecting what truly and most matters to you. Relationships, purpose in your life, play, nature, mindfulness. This is the heart of acceptance and commitment therapy, where we say, you learn to live fully despite the presence of discomfort, and that's totally fine and acceptable. So each week, even in this phase, in the first phase, in the second phase, you get structured exercises to put exactly this theory into practice. So I'm helping you to put all of these practices into practice. So in this second phase, you start learning to reclaim and live your life, not by waiting for silence or to wait until some magical mechanism saves you, but by building a richer, more meaningful relationship and flexible relationship with the sound and your personal reaction. And now we're getting into the third part, which is probably my absolute favorite part. It is called integration and resilience. In integration and resilience, our goal is to create and cement new habits, build bouncing back skills. So if you have a spike or a more difficult moment, we'll teach you actionable strategies that you can use in order to bounce back from these experiences and to move toward long-term peace and habituation. So now you really shift from the progress that you've created in the second phase to long-term resilience and sustainable progress in your habituation journey. So you learn how to navigate these setbacks, manage spikes more efficiently, and having stressful situations that will naturally increase your tinnitus perception with more confidence. So you'll deepen all those practices that have already worked for you. You further identify what strategic system has helped you with that. And it doesn't matter whether it's like breath work, yoga nidra, value-based actions, tame, diffusion, whatever it is. Any of these techniques can and will work for you, and it's about letting go of that reactivity. So this is really not only about tinnitus, it's about emotional regulation, resilience, and creating a more steady inner life. So this framework really is also about how to deal with major spikes and how to bounce back from such, where I teach you a proven framework, TAME, for handling setbacks, where you tune in, allow, make room, engage. Right? And to absolutely understand that spikes by no means mean failure or that you did something wrong, but that's a natural part of your habituation journey, right? So the skills that you will build here is like surfing the wave of your emotional reaction and not to drown in it. And in this final phase, it's super crucial and important that you focus on this identity shift and I'm a tinnitus sufferer to I'm a resilient person who lives fully regardless of the ringing, which is when your brain can start to learn, I don't have to tune into this all the time. Therefore, it becomes less bothersome. I can claim my life back. I can do the things that I want to do. And finally, my tinnitus is not so annoying to me anymore. I do everything I want to do despite the presence of my tinnitus. So this helps your brain scanning for the sound because it is no longer who you are. It no longer defines you. It no longer keeps you hostage in its emotional reactivity. So phase 3 is absolutely where freedom begins, not really because tinnitus is absolutely gone, no, but because you've stopped organizing your whole life around it and you learn that you can, claim your life back from tinnitus 100% and that your tinnitus doesn't have to dictate what you do on a daily basis in order to be happy and healthy and living a good life. You might wonder what actually makes this program different from all of the other apps out there, video-based courses, stuff where they put hearing aids in your ears. Absolutely, if you need them, go put hearing aids in your ears, but don't put them in your ears if you barely have a hearing loss and just for sound therapy. What makes this system different is that it builds on actual brain science. It's neuroplastic results that you're going to get and no gimmicks here, right? It's backed by cognitive behavior therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy and the actual techniques that help people move forward from panic to peace. And why? You can see here in many of the testimonials and the success stories that the members have shared, not only on my channel. I have an interview playlist here on YouTube with the people who've been through the club and the program with many of their success stories. So if you want to check some of those out, I hope they can encourage you to take that program as well. If you are tired of searching, being stuck in constant fear and obsession with your tinnitus, and you want a real path forward, then this 12-week system, right, with these 3 parts, I can say to you, this is what we have built inside mytinnitus.club. This is what you can access immediately at www.mytinnitus.club, and where you have structured content, weekly group coaching session, and an incredibly supportive community with people from all over the world. So if you like this video, then please share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what you think of this 3-part journey towards tinnitus habituation.
Ich kann keine Gruppe oder kein Gerät mit dem Namen Lightstrip finden.
Yeah, Alexa, thank you for that. Very unnecessary. Alexa destroying my video. Anyways, so if you want to get started, but you don't want to join the program yet, I can recommend my free 4-day email habituation course, which you can get by clicking on the link below. It's all in the description. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.